What's up, chat? J-Man, first in. My man's here early in the morning. Widowmaker, what's going on? Yengies, Source King, Shadow, Hazy, Voids. Might be a little bit quiet because it's Father's Day in Australia at the moment, chat. So probably be a little bit of a more quieter session. How do we go this week? But how do we go in August as well as a whole? On my personal for August, I'll probably save it for the end of the year, but it was good. Very, very good. Mirko, what's going on? Elge, Mr. Ellis, Nick, what's goody? Nigel. Interesting. Can't see end of day breakdowns or should be able to, bro. I'm not. Maybe you just have to restart your Discord, to be honest. Should still have your role, so might just have to reset it, to be honest. You might just be the only one, Besh, maybe. Venture, what's going on? Alex, Jaden. Let me know, Besh. Maybe try turning it, I don't know, fucking closing it, opening it. Maybe if I just go here and just take it away, round it back. Maybe that will work. Check Discord. I've been checking Discord, bruv. What is there to check? Felix, what's going on? Percy, cannolis. It was rubbish, to be honest, but we're working on it. It's alright, bro. Have you got your personal going, Ellis? Surely you finished break even for the month with that, J-Man. 14-hour week would have been nice. If you were doing things correctly in the first couple of weeks with risk management, I reckon you would have been fine. Wild West, what's going on? Jolie. 2 W's, 2 L's, 1 break even this week. That's not bad. First half of August wasn't the best for me. That's the same with me, but I had a shitty first half of August as well. Because that's when AU just kept on dropping for me and I was looking for my longs. So I shared the same view in the first half of August. Georgie, what's going on? Abba, hello. Mr. Lungless. Alright, so probably just gonna start it off here like last week. Carry on from last week. So for those that don't know what this is, pretty much just pick up some random charts and just explain a thought process just so I can reinforce the thought process for you guys to understand. I guess seeing this every week with repetition will be good. So we got this chart over here. I believe one of you posted this and asked, well, what do I do here? Well, to be honest, first off, because this is the 15-minute, I need to see if it puts in a new low, right? Stepped away from it, back on demo for August. Jumping back on the personal this week. Alright, good. Haven, what's going on? Glaze, my boy. So, to be honest, I'll just interpret. Like, this is what I want to do, right? So first off, I'd look at structure, right? This protector low got taken out on the 15-minute. Would have been a breaker structure, yeah? So, not really a big focus on this. Obviously, we're coming off a 4-hour supply. That makes sense. So, the question that was asked with this when this chart was posted was, what do I do here? Where's the trade here? Well, it's not really a trade from all the way down here, yeah? So, this will become a break of structure. All right. You could consider these zones up here. You could consider these zones. Probably not this one. Probably more focused on the top one here at the protected high, because this will be the high that caused a new low. But honestly, only two setups are really here for me. It's either I go on the counter trend, right? Because obviously we're low on the leg here. We've put in a new low. Correction would come at some point. I'd wait for that correction. If I get a lower time frame setup off of the correction, then that's something I could take at least to here, yeah? At least to what we got over here. I'm assuming this is a back test, because we're trading at 7.3 and we're not at 7.3, but nevertheless, something like this, I'd look to counter trend to look for a setup here before heading down lower, right? Because we heard that 15-minute break structure confirmed. Realistically, there's only two setups that I like. So if order flow shifts bullish on the lower time frame, that means we're having our correction on the 15-minute. Looking for our entry model just to take something that would be, and we just put external factors aside for a second. We're just looking at what we would do on this chart. So try to keep it as simple as possible. But yeah, April 2022 makes sense. Thought so. So, like I said, it'd just be the counter trend. I wouldn't look for any continuations heading down here. Yeah, let's talk about what I won't do. So let's write it out. 15-minute break of structure to the downside. So at this point down here, not interested in lower time frame continuations heading down lower, and it's just because of how far down we are in the leg. And look, like obviously, like price can continue to run all the way down, yeah, without a correction sometimes, yeah. But just I just like to look for the smart setups, all right? Because sometimes, you know, price will run away and it'll keep bleeding out and it'll keep dropping without a pullback, but there's simply no entry there. So it's not really something you'd want to try and force, right? You want to try get good habits going. So at this point, I'm not interested in the continuation heading down lower due to being low on the leg. Yeah, we're just thinking logically. Just want to encourage you guys to think logically and just have a good understanding. So obviously with the 15-minute break structure to the downside confirmed. Lower time frame order flow turns bullish, and longs on the lower time frame via continuation become logical and probable. Because the 15-minute is having a correction into a 15-minute supply POI, right? Yeah, easy, bro. I'm just going through this, but to be honest, why is it? I just want to go through like one example, just to explain the thought process. Carter, what's going on? Brody. That's alright, as long as you're not, I mean, if you're staying below, if you're staying above 3% drawdown best, that's not that bad. It's not the end of the world. But like I said, price is probably going to have its pullback into some form of POI, right? Whether it be this one, or this one, right? Just looking here for valid supply POIs, we've got some room to go. We've got at least 100 pips between over here and over here. So there would be decent. Can we access this page somewhere after? I could. Yeah, I could. So we're looking for just a correction playing to supply, right? In the meantime, when price actually shifts bullish on the lower time frame, that's what I'm talking about in terms of taking advantage of the counter trend continuation heading up. So that's one of the ways we can take it. Obviously, that's counter trend. Second setup that we can take off of here would simply be waiting for the higher time frame zone after the lower time frame bullish order flow shift. So thought process, counter trend. All right, cool. All the way down here. What's the next probable move on the board? Wait for confirmation. This is important because a lot of you just try spam longs without waiting for confirmation. Just wait for confirmation on the lower time frame. You get a nice lower time frame bullish order flow shift, and then we can look for some counter trend lower time frame continuations. Right, we have to wait for confirmation first, and then off the zones. Obviously, everyone confirms the zone different. That's a different story, right? Because we've already got in that 50-minute breaker structure. We're just in our overall correction to head down lower, essentially, right? That's the main thought process here. But like I said before, because price could continue heading down lower and putting in new lows, that's why I'm saying wait for a lower time frame order flow shift on the 1 minute / 3 minute, whatever you prefer to confirm it, and make sure structure is actually turned bullish on the lower time frame, and then you can look for your continuations, right? Otherwise, if it doesn't confirm and we don't get that lower time frame order flow shift and you try to force longs, it's just going to continue to head down lower and we're just going to keep bleeding and you're just going to keep getting stopped out. So waiting for the high time frame zone and low time frame order flow shift to take the high time frame continuation lower. What's going on, cool sir? I just explained it YZ, so just have to wait for confirmation. So on the 3 minute, isn't there order flow shift already? Everyone's different, bro. Everyone has different ways of confirming what they want to do with the structure. Some people use 1 minute, some people use 3 minute. There's no two traders that are exactly the same and think exactly the same way in terms of thought process. I'm just giving you options. I'm not saying do this or do that. I'm just saying low time frame, 1 minute, 3 minute, could be whatever, right? So confirmation on the low time frame is key, because if we try to look for the lower time frame longs without the confirmed low time frame order flow shift, it will just result in us getting taken out and price continuing lower. So remember, always look for confirmation first. Second example. So this one's on the 1 hour, right? So this one was 15 minute. I explained it from a 15-minute thought process. So over here, and this is different, right? Even though this is 1 hour, it's very, very different, all right? This is Euro USD, so 1 hour internal breaker structure, but pretty similar actually in terms of distance. There's about 100 pips from this high over to this demand. Would I use a 3 minute demand here? No. So straight off the bat, it's not really my cup of tea already. So we've got a 1 minute internal breaker structure. Because of the positioning of the pricing, and we are priced high in the leg, we can agree, right? If we're looking at stuff from a 1 hour basis, I know 1 hour isn't as common here, but I will explain it. If we're on the 1 hour here and we're priced this high up in the 1 hour, there is a lot of room to the downside to the next valid demand, right? And if there's a lot of room to the downside to the next valid demand, similar to this setup over here, there's going to be a good opportunity for low time frame counter trend continuations, right? So straight off the bat, low time frame counter trend continuations, heading down lower. But if I'm taking continuations, I'm marking out this whole 1 hour POI, right? Because that's just how I would do it. If this was the 15 minute, I'd do the exact same thing. So I wouldn't mark out this 3 minute. I wouldn't mark out anything lower time frame. I'd have this 1 hour marked out and any possible refinements in the inside. And then on the lower time frame, the whole 1 hour POI can be a target. So lower time frame counter trend continuation heading down lower with the 1 hour demand. Let me mark this out. Let me just emphasize on this. With the next valid 1 hour demand marked out, so we are aware of where price may reverse and head higher / take profit area. So realistically, there's two opportunities here, similar with the first one, but because we're on the 1 hour, we've got a lot of room for price to head down. I get rid of all the lower time frame demands here, and I focus on having the 1 hour. So lower time frame counter trend continuations. That's one setup. Second setup. In this case, 1 hour high time frame continuation, playing off the internal breaker structure. Is the zone already valid for us? Yes. You want to know why? Because we've got internal breaker structure, protected low. There's imbalance here as well. That validates the zone that we're trading from, right above the supply, the demand POI right here. So mark this last down candle, which is the white candle. And obviously we have imbalance here, so this zone would be nice to look at as a target. So if price does play into the 1 hour and we get confirmation, whether you're looking on the lower time frame or whether you're looking on the high time frame to take the setup, you could be looking on a refinement on the 1 hour demand, or you can just be looking at it as a whole and covering the stop loss at the bottom. But if you're looking at a refinement, obviously that's a lower time frame zone within the 1 hour zone, so you can have a little bit of a tighter stop loss with that. So 1 hour high time frame continuation, playing off the internal breaker structure, and this can be played as a high time frame trade and just covering the internal protected low, or using a refinement. The refinement could be the body of the 1 hour, or a lower time frame refinement. And the benefit of this is having a smaller stop loss with higher risk to reward. So realistically, only two setups I'm interested here. Lower time frame continuations, and then coming into the demand, you can take the whole 1 hour demand, or you can take it, put a refinement in there, and then go off there. So moving on to the next one. This is what we got. So this one's 1 minute, again, different. So what do we have here, chat? What do we have? What do we have here? Pretty simple. If we just focus on the 1 minute, purely on the 1 minute, break. Obviously this one, internal breaker structure right here. Price fails to put in a new high. This low here becomes weak. Price comes down, takes out the weak low, takes out the protected low. So when a protected low gets taken out, breaker structure, right? So we get a nice internal breaker structure. So from here, I'm only realistically focused on continuations heading down lower, right? Because this is the start of order flow shift, right? So this break structure right here, weak low got taken out. Obviously there's not really a setup here at the moment, so I prefer to wait for a supply POI up here So it's either I wait for a supply POI up here. If we don't get this tapped in and we just play off imbalance, that's also fine. If we do get a new break of structure, then we will have new supply POIs to choose from, right? So realistically at this point, because we just got that confirmation of the order flow shift, there's only one setup here that really makes sense for me realistically. So 1 minute order flow shift, weak low taken out. Couldn't you have just said that was just liquidity? I'm gonna need more than that, bruv. You're gonna have to like elaborate, please. So 1 minute order flow shift, weak low taken out, and plus the 1 minute break of structure to the downside. So at this point, main focus is to look for short continuations due to the order flow shift and different scenarios. Happy to work around it. If price plays off the imbalance and I do not get a setup, then I am happy to wait and reset, and when we have a new break of structure to the downside, then I am happy to look for a new entry model with a new POI that has been created. One way to take it. And then the second way, if price does play into the supply POI at the protected high, I'm also interested in taking that for a continuation, heading down lower. The zone would already be valid due to the imbalance and being at a protected high, it would meet my criteria. Right? So two ways. If price comes off the imbalance, puts in a new low, we wait for a fresh POI, come back up, hopefully we play into a valid POI, and then we'll come down lower. Or we play up higher here into this supply POI, clear up the imbalance, and then continue down lower. All good, my boy, Widowmaker, take it easy, bro. I'll consider the POI below and say the wicks. The wicks got swept. Why do you consider a protected low? I'm talking about the last one. It's a protected low because it put in a new high, right? So price comes up here, gets a correction, and puts in a new high. It's just clear structure, bro. That's all it is. I don't know how a break of structure can be liquidity, but like that's some fucking fugazi shit, bro. That's not me. I don't swing that way. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know who's been saying a break of structure is liquidity, bro. Like, it's structure. Alright, so that's the three that we're going through today, chat. So hopefully it makes sense. Hopefully it gave you some insight into thought process. The last one. So price comes up, we have a correction, and you see where this high gets taken out. This is the low that caused it. Break of structure. This is the low that puts in a new high. Alright, so a couple of you guys wanted to talk about focusing on your day. So I'll keep it nice and short today because obviously it's Father's Day and whatnot, and you know, people have places to be, so we'll keep it nice and short with this one. But just more psychology, since that's what you guys wanted. I don't really like talking about psychology too much, but it's like, it's more talking, but if that's what you guys want, that's alright then. So I'm gonna go through like what I do personally, just my structure on the day, just so you guys can get an understanding of how much time I'm actually on the chart. So usually the structure I follow throughout the day is to scope out the chart when I wake up. And this is coming off Sunday. So Sunday, obviously we have our alerts and all that stuff. We set up our alerts on Sunday. We set up the market on Sunday. But you still have to check it on the Monday morning, right? When you first get into the market. So when I wake up, I just need to see if I can set any more alerts, or if there's any potential gaps or something along the lines of that when the market opens. Because I need to be up to date to the market, right? Because on Sunday, we don't know if there's going to be a gap that opens up on Monday, and then you have to change the whole analysis. So that's why I take the Sunday analysis lightly. Monday, we make our proper adjustments, because if there's a gap, you have to work around it. I think in the last 3 or 4 weeks, 7 or 8 gaps, all closed at some point. So that's important, right? We need to know exactly what price is doing, if there's any adjustments we need to make on our alerts. So that's pretty much what I do, just to understand where the market's at, right? First thing in the morning. And obviously the most dangerous part of a trade from beginning to end is the execution of the setup. So on a normal day, it will be a lot more focus on the entry. That's the most important part. That's where all the focus should be, on the entry, because it's the most dangerous part. You either get taken out straight away, or the trade will actually go well and you'll be able to move to break even. It's the most dangerous part of the trade, because you can get stopped out in a minute or seconds or whatever it may be, right? So on a normal day, it will be a lot more focus on the entry. And obviously once the entry is completed, there will still be some active monitoring before we move our stop loss over to break even. From there on out, the mindset is less time on the chart, and depending on the setup, looking to chain that setup into a scale in, or looking to take profit and then looking to go back the other way off a higher time frame zone or something like that. It's whenever I wake up, bro. Honestly, it's whenever I wake up. But let me explain it like this. So if I've entered the setup here, right? Let's say I've entered over here. All my focus, realistically, the most focus you should give to the charts should probably be in something like this. So let's say this is time, right? Let's say this grey box is time. So we want to be watching the market to see what it's doing early, right? And if we can see a setup forming, cool, we take it. I still want to be monitoring the setup at least until we get this breaker structure and we get to move to break even. So once we do that, then we can take less time off the charts. But the reason why I still have this grey box here is because if price comes back, we can look for a scale in, and we can look to take an opportunity here and maximize our win, basically, right? And then let's say, more time goes on, we get our scale in as well, and then we'll break even on 2 trades. Then from here on out, it's pretty light on the chart. It's not sitting on the charts watching price do everything. It's just having my alerts and just monitoring it every maybe like half an hour or so, just checking in. That's it. But anything that comes to entry, focus should be there. I know it's hard to focus every single hour of the day. That's why whenever you're entering, that's where most of your focus should be, because that's the most important, that's the most dangerous part of the market. Because that's where you can lose. You can't lose from here. You get a break even. All right, so what? You lose fucking $2. I'm talking about proper losses. That's why being focused at these times and your entry is important. And also, for example, let's say take profit is all the way up here. This is also an area you have to focus on, right? So let's say alert goes off here, we've entered the zone. And what I mean by chaining your wins together, you know, let's say we get confirmation and we get to take a setup heading down lower, right? So then when price comes up into here, this is where focus should be as well, right? Focus should be here. Let's say you catch a setup off of here. And then once you move to break even, then you can take the focus off, check it every half an hour or so. Because I think I've said it so many times to you guys, I always get asked this, the most time I spend on the market and sit on the computer is with you guys on a Wednesday. That's literally all it is. So, like I said, most of the day is light on the charts, and most of the focus is driven into the early part of the setup around the entry. It's challenging to sit there and focus throughout the whole day while we're still respecting the 5 trades a day rule, right? So this will help with your over trading as well, because if you're just focusing on the entry, like if you imagine you focus on the whole day, you'll keep trying to scale and you keep trying to do this, keep trying to do that. Just keep it simple. Try to limit your time on the charts, because once you've learned everything right, it's actually less time on the charts. Less is more, basically. But like I said, it's about coming in early as well on the Monday, or whatever day it may be, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I like to come in early, understand what the market is doing, if there's any gaps that I need to take into account, and then I work off there. I set new alerts. I look for different setups. There might be an order flow shift. There might be a protected load taken out. I'll look for different setups, different POIs. So sometimes it might be different. That's why I like to go in the morning, have a look at everything and get some clarity on what the market has done and what we can do from there. Have you ever thought about price coming towards your take profit? And I'll say take profit is a zone. If you don't get an order flow shift on the lower time frame, look, it just depends. It depends on the situation. If I'm down for the day, I'll probably take profit because obviously I need that RR. But if I'm up for the day, then I can afford to let it, like, it depends on that sort of thing. If you're up for the day, then obviously you can add some more risk. If you're not, then you have to be conservative and you have to take what's there. Does this make sense, chat, and on where to allocate your focus on the charts? Because like I see so many motherfuckers that just sit on this Discord all day. I mean, if you're learning, that's alright. If you're back testing, if you're forward testing, that's fine. Completely fine. But if you're on a live account, that shit's fucking unhealthy. That shit's very unhealthy. Like, you don't need to be doing that. Does this make sense, chat? I'm gonna get copyright strike, bro. I can't. And then nobody's gonna be able to watch this masterclass. I have to keep it like somewhat quiet. Make sense, cannolis? Does it make sense, chat? You guys on the same page or what? Or is it just cannolis? I'm learning at the moment 6 hours a day, but I'm new, so I think it's okay. That's alright. I was learning like a couple hours a day as well at the start, but like learning's different. But this is like fucking charts and Discord. Like you gotta like, if you're learning, stay on the Discord. That's fine. If you're learning and you're watching the breakdown, that's fine. Stay on Discord. But if you're actually trading, Like you'll notice with me, I don't stay on the charts all day. I go on throughout my day, and I allocate my focus when there's an entry, and then I'll take it, and then I'll just check it every half an hour or so. Like you don't have to sit on there all day. I don't. The most time I sit on the charts is a full hour. Like I don't spend more than probably half an hour sitting on the charts. Like, I don't sit on the charts. I literally do not sit on the charts. I'll just check it every now and then. Check it in the morning. Understand the landscape. Understand if I need to adjust, if there's any gaps or if there's any new structure being put in. Work off that. Set my alerts. That's all it comes down to. It's as simple as that. Set your alerts, bro. Besh. The only amount of time you should be giving 100% focus is when you're entering. That's it. To be honest. Do your analysis. Set up your day properly. Like set up your day masterclass. You guys remember that? Do all that first. But then when it comes to the entry, that's when you're actually sitting on the computer and you're watching it like a hawk. That's what I mean. Or your phone. Skill, yeah, that's good. Bencher. Merco makes sense. Shadow. Shaman. I don't look in the Discord before I'm in a trade. Yeah, that's the same with me. I'll come in, answer a couple questions and help people out. But in terms of like my analysis, you'll usually see me like posting if there's a DXY gap or something like that. And I post that when there is a gap. So, you guys can fucking have that light bulb go off in your head and be like, all right, he's posting this for a reason. Why is he posting it? It's something to take into consideration. Because let's say there's a gap on the DXY and, the gap is, the gap is here. So let's say this is DXY. That's a very bad D, but that's all right. And let's say we're going here and the gap is here, right? The gap is here. We've taken advantage of longs, but now price is starting to make new highs and we're coming up. It's coming up for a reason. And at this point, when we're coming up to fill this gap, this is why we're heading down lower here. And then you can just understand that, okay, cool, makes sense, right? Because if you're not looking at here and then, you're not considering a higher time frame zone and you keep trying to spam the longs, and then here you keep trying to look for longs, let me try FBOS, let me try this, trying fucking a million different entry models, and it's not working. It's because you're not fucking looking at your external factors. But obviously I've explained that in a lot of previous masterclasses. Fuck, that's not good, bro. You alright, Glaze? Did it take anything valuable or what? Is your family safe? And yourself? Most of my issues are sitting... Yeah, no, bro, honestly, chat, you don't even need to sit on the computer for too long. I know you guys see it on TikTok and all that shit. I know you guys see it everywhere. But I'm being fucking dead set with you. You don't need to be. You just need to be focused on your... Set up your day properly. Do your 4 hour, your high time frame in AUD USD. Do your DXY. Get all of that set up. Understand the market. Understand DXY is in this direction. AUD USD is going here. Mark up your high time frame zones. Set your alerts. And if it comes into a 15-minute zone and it starts to head up and you miss the 15-minute zone, then you can look for a lower time frame continuation, right? For example, over here, I did the exact same thing. I did it multiple times, chat. Here, I missed this 15-minute zone because it came at 5 a.m. in the morning. That's fine. In this example, I wait for price to give me an entry model off of here because this was a valid supply zone for me and we're respecting it. So I'm going to have my focus here on the chart when I wake up, because I want to catch this. I want to get an entry model for this because it's already come into supply. I've missed the supply. Order flow's bearish. This is the time where I need to allocate my focus onto the chart because there is a setup here. There is a setup. Know what I mean? Respecting a supply, order flow shift. There's a setup here to take. There's a potential setup. Yeah, it's. I don't think a lot of people use alerts, bro. Fuck, that's weird as. Why would they rip off the blinds unless they're like expensive or something? I'm learning this so I don't have to sit on my computer all day. Yeah, like you don't need to. You have to sit at your computer all day to learn, but when you're actually trading, it's actually less time on the chart, straight up. Alright, we'll go through DXY, AD, USD, and then we'll wrap it up for today, chat. Don't want to go too long. I've still got this marked out. I don't know if anyone shares the same view as me, but this is what I got on the daily. Big daily bracket structure. And going off this supply wick with inducement, we'd like to see DXY head up a little bit higher and tap into it before heading down lower. So that's what I got on the 4 hour. There's not really any valid supplies, and even if there is, you could justify as probably this wick up here, which is basically right next to the supply wick on the daily. So we'd be expecting DXY to head up a little bit higher, at least into the supply, and then we'll see how we go from there, because everything else looks mitigated to me, to be honest. So a little bit of bullish on that. In terms of what we got here on AUD USD, look, at the moment 15 minutes still bullish, right? So just looking at it like this, nice big breaker structure here. You have a similar outlook on. Yeah, I think we're getting to the end of the correction, but never say never, right? DXY could just blast through. We do the best with what we're given. But to be honest, like, I think there's room for AU to head down lower. Genuinely, I do. Just looking at this, but like protected all the way down here, but just looking over here, we failed to put in a new high, right? Failed to put in a new high. So what was that telling us? What failed to put in a new high? Yeah, this makes sense. So this failed to put in a new high over here. That becomes weak. Obviously, it got taken out. Honestly, chat, like, the distance for us to get to the DXY supply is probably the same distance for AU to come all the way down here. Probably only two zones I'm really going to consider on the 15 minutes to take advantage of from this structure. And this one here at the protected low, and potentially this over here is one to consider as well. But something I'm considering. Would not be surprised if we get a little bit of correction and we come into here and then we get something like this. So that's what I'm going to focus on for next week, chat. I don't know if you guys share the same view, but I'm just going off the swing structure on AU. Good to hear. I was sitting on hours on the chart. No, I barely spent an hour because I set alerts on where I was feeling. Oh, no, you're doing something right. I know a lot of people like, especially on social media, that they act like they sit on the charts all day, like trading all day. I mean, like, you don't really do that. You go on throughout your day and do your thing. It's not that much time. I thought something like, yeah, you can't get good at trading with putting a small amount of time, but now I'm getting used to it and seeing myself perform better. Yeah, that's good. Less is more, bro. Less is more, to be honest. I'm gonna have a look at the news now. Mr. Ellis, then we'll wrap it up. Alright, Monday, pretty quiet. Might be a slow start to the week. Tuesday, cash rate looks like it's going to be a hold. Interesting. So that's something to look out for on the Tuesday. And then we got more AUD news on Wednesday, GDP. Yeah, you're right. Alice, there's a lot of news next week. So we'll see how it goes, but Friday should be fine, Thursday should be fine. Tuesday, just be aware of that. That's something we have to be aware of. But I think Wednesday shouldn't be too bad because that's a little bit earlier in the day. We should be able to trade in our live session. So I'd just be cautious with the Tuesday, to be honest. I do have a look at the setting up your day masterclass, because I go through like my whole checklist from start to finish. Everything I do on the DXY, everything I do on the AD was the high time frame, all the way to the lower time frame to execution. Like I go through it in so much detail on that masterclass, so it's worth having a look at. But I think that's going to be it for today's chat. I'll pop this into the masterclass notes. Did today make sense for you guys? Like, worth going through something like this, or what? Give me some feedback. And if there's anything you want to go through next week, make sure you tell me in the chat, and I'll help you guys with it. But this is what you guys wanted to go through today, so hopefully it makes sense and you guys understood it. I'll save. Alright boys, we'll wrap it up. It's Father's Day anyway. Enjoy the rest of your day, boys. Alright, easy Haven, easy. Easy J-Man, have a good day. Happy you liked it, bro. W Bencher, W Cannolis, WYZ, W Glaze. Make sure you take care of your stuff first, like your security and your fucking safety, bro. That's the main thing you got to do first if you haven't already. Thank you, Shadow. Thank you, Mirko. Alright, awesome. Thank you, Source. W Alexander. All good skill. Thank you, Jolie. You too, Source. W Brody, W Percy, W George. How do you use the Discord search thing? You just search it. So for example, Session Vault, search Session Vault, and then search Masterclass, and then it'll come up, and you can just go from there. So pretty simple. Take care, YZ. W Hazy, W Shadow. Alright. Let me know if you need anything, Glaze, alright? Send me up. Alright, boys, enjoy the rest of your day. Happy Father's Day to those in Australia as well, if you are a father. I know we do have a couple fathers in here, but I'll catch you boys on Monday tomorrow, and I'll catch